Welcome back to Arise and Shine. I'm so excited to meet our next guest who has accomplished something seemingly impossible. She's climbed summits all over 7 continents and reached the North and South Poles.
Vanessa O'Brien has become the fastest woman in the world to finish the Explorer's Grand Slam in under a year. Welcome, Vanessa. I know you had a job in finance for several years, and then you decided to start doing this in, what, 2009? How did you get into it?
Yeah, so, well, it was, I guess, the cusp of 2009-10, and I had left banking because we had the recession. Mm-hmm. And I was looking for something goal-oriented, challenging, something I could, measure success by, something different that would last 2 or 3 years. That's how long I thought the recession was going to take. So you can judge me as an economist. But and so what ended up happening was I was sitting down at lunch, and a girlfriend said, "What about Everest?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" And of
the
course
recession goes down, you climb up. Perfect.
Of course we laughed out loud. You'd have to. That's a ridiculous suggestion. But it met all those criteria: measuring success, goal-oriented, all of that. So I thought the only thing I don't know how to do is climb.
So what does it take to physically prepare to be a climber?
You do want good cardiovascular strength.
Wow.
Almost more. There's a lot of mental stamina. There's a lot of physical, but the physical is very much around cardio. So if you're climbing, I like to climb stairs, and I live in a city, so I climb an office building. I just go up and down, 900 stairs over and over and over again. So
and I heard that you had to carry around a 50-pound tire to try to build endurance. So what's that about?
Oh, it's brilliant. Great training. You want some resistance on that tire, so something like a beach or something like that's perfect. What that does is builds endurance. So that's better for things like the poles, North Pole, South Pole.
Oh, wow.
There are two of those mountains, two of those 7 summits that involve pulling sleds. So that's perfect.
As a woman in her 40s, I'm in my 40s. How is it? Are we too old, or what? You're inspiring.
No,
so I want to hear about it.
I'll tell you, it's a great question. The average age for climbing these mountains is about 50.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes. So you could still do it. You could still get there.
That's really cool.
Because the bigger peaks above 26,000 feet, those are 8-week expeditions.
Wow.
So you have to train for them. You're there for a very long time to build those red blood cells into that thin atmosphere. And training is very much focused on cardio, because where the air is limited, the brains and the lungs have to have that. Muscle will compete against that.
So when you're at a certain age, is it because of the focus maybe that we have that at 40? Right, vacation, right?
No, I think it's because the age is where you could take 2 months off to go on an expedition. Right. So if you at a certain age, you probably can delegate something in your career to somebody. And
you need to be able to finance it, I would assume.
And you've got to finance it, so you've got to have a little bit of savings bank to do it on the expeditions. And they all vary in cost, but something like Everest still is around $75,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know you recently climbed one of the mountains in the Himalayas. Is that right? Tell us
That's right.
about that.
So 2 weeks ago was the 8th highest mountain in the world, called Manaslu.
Wow.
It is in Nepal. In fact, the 14 8,000-meter peaks over 26,000 feet. They're all in the Himalayas, bordering Nepal, Tibet, and Pakistan. I have climbed 4 of the 14.
Oh my gosh! So, what expedition for you is the hardest?
I would say Everest, because it's the highest. It's still challenging. I know there's some controversy, whether fixed lines are put in and stuff. But you're 29,035 feet. Planes fly at 35,000. It's challenging.
And we're seeing some great pictures of you actually climbing those mountains, which is so neat. I know we had heard that you sing a song when you're climbing to stay focused. What is that? Okay, so that's a little bit of a funny story, but I only sang it once, and it was on Everest, and it was when I was really feeling like I wanted to turn around. So I had this negative voice come in and say, "You're higher than you've ever been. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You're knackered, you're tired." My water bottles all froze. It was 45-mile-an-hour winds, minus 45 temperature. And I thought, I want to turn around. This is awful. It's more than I bargained for. It was so steep. And then out of the blue, 99 bottles of beer came into my head, which was... That's Actually, you know what? That's a great one. I think.
I've never knowingly sung that song, but what was great is that it made me count.
Yes.
Right.
And it's a long song.
Right.
I mean, it takes
Absolutely.
a long time to get through 99 to 1 with the paragraphs, and
so
it
next
worked.
time you should start on 1,000 bottles of beer on the wall. I
So
think.
what did your husband think of all this?
You know what? He's British. He's kind of stoic. He's got that stiff upper lip. He doesn't ever really get too riled or worried or anything like that. So, but he does like the odd phone call when it's over to say, "Hey, mission accomplished.
Still
we're
alive.
good."
Right.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
important.
So for someone like you who's traveled so much and done so many things, I mean, what's the next challenge? How do you even figure out where you want to go next?
Yeah, you know, there is a sort of a mountaineer's mountain that's the second highest K2, and they had such a great season this year, 40, 45 summits, something like this, and you know, I think next year there'll be quite a lot of people that give that a go. I would love to try it, but I'd have to train for a good 6 months before I did.
Wow. You're incredible. You're absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes.
No, it was great fun. Thank you very much.
And when we return, we'll meet a woman whose 14-year-old son was killed by gunfire, learn how she's taken action to stop it from happening to another mother, and how you can get involved. Stay tuned. You're watching Arise and Shine.